Hello BookTube, it's Tag Tuesday and I'm going to be doing the Muppet Book Tag. This is a new version of an old tag that was around years ago or whatever. And this new version was created by Garet at Book Songs and Other Magic, and I was tagged by the iconic Book Chat with Pat. So I've never been much of a Muppets girly, like at all, but I won't have that point of reference when it comes to the questions, but I'll just assume because I want to have fun with this tag. So number one, Kermit. Name a book with a great leader. Now, I'm going to say Xenophon for this. I know, me going with Greek history. I have read the major Greek historians, and Xenophon isn't my favorite, but I think when it comes to leadership and talking about it, I think he fits this question the most. He isn't my favorite Greek historian, though. I still think that's Thucydides. Controversially, I prefer him a bit more over Herodotus, but again, Herodotus is very fun. But yeah, I'm going to say Xenophon for that one. 2. Fozzie Bear. Name a book that made you laugh. Any Georgia Hare pretty much is guaranteed to make me laugh. There's sometimes Kafka too, because Kafka wrote some of his stuff to be funny, and he laughed at some of them when he was writing, and I think I want to be a bit crazy like that and laugh at some of those stories. But then I think when I do that, I think, what were the stories that made Kafka laugh the most? And everyone says like the metamorphosis or whatever, but I'm gonna say it was the judgment, like a bit too close to home. I can see him like laughing through the pain of that story, but maybe I don't know what one I would laugh to the most. Maybe a hunger artist, or maybe I'd laugh at the judgment. Who knows? But Kafka does make me laugh. And of course, because I'm Australian, I'm going to say Frank the Poet or Francis McNamara. So those are my main three. 3. Animal. Name a book that is unpredictable, and I'm going to go with The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins. Now, this is a classic Victorian mystery. It has all the lovely tropes that you love in Victorian books, but with like a mystery plot, and it's got ghosts in it, and it's fun. And I haven't read it in years, and I'm due for a reread of some Wilkie Collins. I've read a bit of him, but he's never been like a go-to favorite. But A Woman in White was a book where I was like, I really don't know what's going on, and because of the slower Victorian pace, it kind of leads you in the weeds a bit, and I do like that. Even though it isn't really my favorite Victorian novel. 4. Statler and Waldorf. Name a book that had to win you over. And in terms of that, I'm going to say every dude bro author I've ever read. The most that comes to mind is F. Scott Fitzgerald. My relationship with F. Scott is so messy. I think I like 3 of his novels, or maybe 2. I like The Great Gatsby, and I like The Beautiful and the Damned. But outside of that, and maybe like 2 short stories, like outside of that, literally, I don't like him at all. I've never liked This Side of Paradise, and I feel like there's moments where I really like F. Scott, but outside of that, he does nothing for me. Authors that tried to win me over, who else would there be? Hemingway tried, but he failed. Joyce tried. They didn't even try to win me over. I just didn't like them. But I'm gonna say F. Scott, he came closest out of all those authors. But outside of that, Proust didn't do much for me. He didn't win me over at all. I got through the first volume of In Search of Lost Time. I tried the second. I was like, yeah, no, this is not for me. But maybe John Steinbeck. I've read a bit of Steinbeck. I've mostly stuck to his shorter stuff, like Once There Was a War, or what else have I read by him? The Wind of Our Discontent, like The Moon Is Down, The Pearl, like some of his shorter stuff. I haven't dipped into his novel, like the big chunky novels, and I want to see if he's good, if he can do a big novel, because I haven't read that yet. And so I'm gonna say who was it gonna be? F. Scott, and maybe John Steinbeck. 5. Ernie. Name a character that is innocent or naive, or both. And I'm gonna say Mary Ann Evans from Middlemarch. Me and Mary are like twins, where we both choose chaos, we both suffer, and it's literally me if I was an 1800s girly in a book. I love Mary. She's one of my favorite people ever, and I adore her so much. But she is very naive, and I feel like we have a lot in common. I feel like we'd get along really well. 6. Gonzo the Great. Name a book that defies simple genre definitions. And I'm going to be basic, but I'm going to say Moby Dick. What do I need to say? It's literally, I don't even know how to describe it. It's insane. The format is wild. I can't even process what Melville's doing at some points. The narrative shifts, I can't even. It's too much, but I love it so much, and I'm due for a reread because I want to read it every year, and I need to get to it soon. 7. Dr. Bunsen Honeydew. Name a book with a great concept. I'm going to say, I know this is controversial, but I'm going to say Hannibal by Thomas Harris. Now, I love the Silence of the Lambs books. I think Red Dragon is a genuine perfect book. Like, you can't change it. Silence falls for me a bit, but Hannibal, for me, is the dark horse of the trilogy. And we don't include that other one. But anyway, Hannibal, the concept is great, especially where Clarice is in her life. And actually at such a low point, then Hannibal comes in, and the subplot with him and one of his previous victims is incredible. I just love it. It's a perfect tie-in and a way to end that trilogy. I am one of those rare few people that love the ending of Hannibal. I don't care. I love it to death. I know it's controversial, but I think it was really well done. And so we'll move on from that. Next, 8. Dr. Teeth. Name a character that lights up the scene and makes you smile. I'm going to say any Georgia heroine, but mostly I'm going to say either Sophie from The Grand Sophie or Phoebe from Sylvester. Mostly because those two leading girls are insane. They bring chaos to these families' lives, and I'm all for that. I love them to death. I always laugh at their jokes and what they do. They just bring chaos, and that makes me laugh. And they destroy any scene they're in because it's just so iconic. 9. Rowlf the Dog. Name a character that's laid back and copes with the chaos around them. I'm gonna say Dante from the Divine Comedy. Dante sees a lot of weird things going on in all 3 of the volumes. I've only read Inferno. But he sees a lot of weird stuff, and he's like, wow, that's weird, and moves on, as I think anyone else would be stumped and confused by some of the weird stuff he sees in Inferno. And I feel like he just copes with that really well. But at the same time, like, he wrote it as well, but then he's in it, and that type of third, like, wall, whatever that phrase is, wall breaking thing is amazing. And I'm gonna say Dante again. He sees all this stuff and he's like, yeah, that's weird, and just moves on. So I'm gonna say that. And 10, The Muppets. Name a book with a great found family. And I haven't really read one with that trope. I'm gonna say a recent one that I've read in like the last couple of years or whatever is Happy Place by Emily Henry. That does have that trope with a bit of a romance, a bit more of like a women's fiction type of book. I hate saying that, but I literally don't know another name for it. It's better than chick lit, but I'm going to say for that Happy Place because it does have that. And 11, tag others. I'm not going to tag anyone in particular, but please feel free to do the Muppet Book Tag if you like the Muppets or like any of the questions I've talked about. But yeah, that was the tag. Let me know about the books that, I don't know, but I mentioned here. And yeah, thank you so much for watching BookTube, and I'll see you next time.